I'm Molly Kimball. Welcome to Fueled, a wellness and nutrition podcast. I'm a registered dietitian and nutrition journalist with a passion to help people live their strongest, healthiest life possible. In my weekly TV segments and columns, there's a limited amount of time and space to cover everything, but there's so much more to share. This podcast is my opportunity to dive deeper into the topics you want to know about. Over these past months, I know that many of us have been giving a lot of thought to how we can turn this time of crisis and adversity into an opportunity to learn and grow, to become better, stronger versions of ourselves. And this is exactly what today's guest, T. Martin of Commander's Palace, will be sharing with us. The importance of allowing ourselves to be uncomfortable, understanding that this is a necessary element for true growth and transformation, making it a priority to not only to continue to learn, but also find ways that we can teach people in all aspects of our lives. Essentially, using this very bizarre time to refine and redefine ourselves as we continue to evolve both professionally and personally. And taking this opportunity to try new things. As T says, try new things, especially when we have nothing to lose. As you'll hear, T is one of those people that once you experience her, you're going to feel like you know her. She has the remarkable perspective of experiencing this coronavirus crisis as a restaurateur, like the hundreds of restaurant owners throughout New Orleans, the millions across the world. But she's also experiencing this as a community and business leader, not only in New Orleans, but throughout the state and the nation. T is co-proprietor of Commander's Palace, as well as Sobu in the French Quarter and Picnic Provisions and Whiskey in Uptown New Orleans. She is co-author with her mom of the book Miss Ella of Commander's Palace. Subtitle, I Don't Want a Restaurant Where a Jazz Band Can't Come Marching Through. She was the driving force behind the documentary Ella Brennan, Commanding the Table, directed by Oscar-nominated filmmaker Leslie Iwerks. If you haven't seen this yet, I highly, highly recommend it. T is incredibly candid, incredibly charismatic, and she is intricately involved with tourism initiatives throughout New Orleans and beyond. She is a board member of the New Orleans Airport's Aviation Board. She's been on it for more than a decade now, and as finance chair, she has been a key force behind the spectacular new airport terminal. She's co-founder and chair of the board of NOCHI, the New Orleans Culinary and Hospitality Institute. This is a 93,000 square foot culinary and hospitality institute that essentially they do a lot of really cool stuff. But in short, they provide a shorter, more affordable alternative to culinary school. And in the time that T has been co-proprietor, Commander's Palace or its staff have won numerous James Beard Foundation Awards, Wine Spectator Grand Awards, and countless other honors and recognitions from organizations and media spanning the globe, including induction into the Culinary Institute of America's Hall of Fame. On a personal note, T has also been an incredible supporter and advocate for our Eat Fit nonprofit initiative. In fact, Commander's was the first restaurant in the city to partner with Oxner as part of Eat Fit. And when I decided to write the Eat Fit cookbook, T was there every step of the way. She provided, first of all, enthusiasm and support for the idea. She provided guidance, feedback, introductions. She was essentially my cookbook advisory board of one. And I am incredibly, eternally grateful for that. As you'll hear, she is a pistol of a personality. She truly infuses spirit, passion, and really just a full-on party into everything she does. And during this time of coronavirus crisis in the hospitality world, T has made an extremely concerted effort to adapt their business model to stay relevant and to stay top of mind for people, still providing incredible experiences for guests in these very new and very innovative ways in spite of the current limitations and social distancing. So welcome, T. I am so excited to be sitting across from you. And for our listeners, we are mask off in the same room, but very distanced.
Yes. Usually we're doing this over dinner with drinks, but okay.
It's a lot. It feels a little sterile this way, but we're good. So I'm really looking forward to getting your take on all of this. The world has completely changed right in front of our eyes over the past few months. And I'm looking forward to getting your take on, the current status of coronavirus, how you predict this is going to impact the hospitality world moving forward. And you have a lot to share about it, a lot that we can take as personally and use that in our own personal growth. And I think that you represent that with Commander's Palace. You drive that forward. Commander's continues to thrive and grow and evolve because of a lot of these things that you and I will be talking about.
Looking forward to it. It's always good to be with you because you inspire me.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. Thank you. And likewise, very much. So before we get into the depths of what we'll be covering, let's start with Commander's, if you don't mind, painting a picture of Commander's Palace for us, for listeners who have not been here, help them envision the experience that unfolds when they walk through the doors.
Okay. Somebody sent me, Molly, this most amazing picture the other day, and it's a picture from up in the sky looking down at New Orleans. And they're like, look closely. I'm like, oh my God, there's Commander's. So anyway, when you see it from up high, there's all this greenery around us, right? Because here we are in the Garden District in New Orleans. And then as it hones in on this aqua blue place right in the middle of all that across from a cemetery, it just stands out. And what we want Commander's to be is the greatest neighborhood restaurant in the world. We want to be great to our community, and the small that community comes in, right, even to our own neighborhood. That's what really matters to us. But I think what you're asking me to talk about is the experience. And so as people pull up, we truly care about the entire experience of Commander's, which starts before you get here. Because when you call here, because you can still call here and talk to an actual human. You might talk to Jimmy Boudreaux or Marie or the whole gang in the reservations, Brian, that are so charming. And you will get a feel for Commander's before you even get here. You can yes, we're very hip, and you can make a reservation online as well to make it convenient for you because that's hospitable. However, so you make your reservation, you tell us if you have anything special going on, and we want to know. Or if you're just coming because it's Tuesday, we're even happier about that. So, but then you arrive, and most of our valets even have charming personalities, and their body language should be very deferential and welcoming. So it starts there, and then you get in, and at a lot of restaurants, and I realize that for whatever reason, people come here and they arrive with expectations, and they're somewhat intimidated sometimes unless they know us. And so a lot of times you'll walk into a situation like that, and it's just very kind of
Stuffy.
Thank you. It's just very stuffy. Or, this is rude of me to say, but you have what I call the bimbo at the door who says, "Hi, table for two." I'm like, so this is not what we're aiming for. I'm sure that's a precious young girl, but she needs work. So when you arrive here, somebody could be Lally Brennan or Ben, our maitre d', Kenny Meyer, Dan, and welcome to, like that, just big out there, welcome, and it's so much, it is a little off-putting, I think, to some people, but they get the idea. And then they look in the dining room and you might see balloons, because we put balloons on everybody who has a birthday. And we also have balloons on every single table for Jazz Brunch Saturday and Sunday. And people come in and they're like, what's with all the balloons? And what fancy, stuffy restaurant would have balloons everywhere? Well, we do, because the only thing we take seriously is the food and the service and the hospitality.
And why not?
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, so you come in, and then as you walk in, hopefully there's a line of folks, if it's at the beginning of the evening, and hopefully every single one of them says to you, "Welcome to Commander's Palace." And every room you walk into, they step out of the way, and a little body language, welcome. And so hopefully before you get to the table, we've let you know, we really want you to be here.
By the time you get to the table, you truly feel like you are not only the most special person in the building, but like also the only person in the building. Because how is all this attention coming to me? It is incredible. It's a great feeling.
Well, and the funny thing about that, Molly, is most of those things that I just described to you don't cost us anything. It's truly, we have gotten to the place where it is in our culture. And our culture is, we say that we're in the business of making dining memories, and we're focused on that. So then we go throughout the service, and when you're served, if there's four of you in a perfect world and things go right, 4 people come to the table and serve you all at the same time. There's all sorts of signals we have to make sure that the service is happening the way we want, and things that happen to find out that you and Brad were having an anniversary, or it was your dad's birthday. So we care enough to have those things to know what's happening before you get there, or we'll whisper to each other if we find out when you are there. So we're just we're going to a lot of effort to make that happen. And we feel that Commander's is like an oasis in a storm. It's a crazy world, okay? pre-COVID, okay? Pre-COVID, it's a crazy world. And we want you to get off of that merry-go-round for a minute and come here into this oasis and be pampered. So I don't know if that gives you a little bit of feel, but you might walk through the kitchen on the way to your table or on the way to the bar, or on the way to the courtyard. There's so many different looks and feels, and every room has a different feeling to it. So there's a lot of different ways you can experience Commanders. You might be in the wine cellar, you might be doing the kitchen table that night. So we're trying to provide a lot of different ways to create those dining memories.
And in every place, even as you're walking through the kitchen, the line cooks if they look up, they greet you. Everyone is. So how do you create this culture, and how do you sustain it? Because while it seems like it's completely effortless, we know that it's anything but, or our entire lives would be like this. Everywhere we went, we would have this experience, which is not the case.
Right.
So how do you create that here?
Well, you're right. The food's the easy part. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier than what you're talking about. True warmth and hospitality. So you have to get it working in your culture. So they really are learning it, and it's being enforced all the time. I mean, you'll see, Lally and I in the kitchen going, no, guest has the right of the way. If they didn't do it correctly that time, and we have a little chat about it, blah, blah, blah. It's constant reinforcement and then praising. We have an award here that we call the fanatical commitment to the consistent execution of the fundamentals. And yes, I like to say that quickly.
Does it have an acronym?
No. Fanatical commitment to the consistent execution of the fundamentals. And we give an award, and there's a plaque in the kitchen. And the last time we gave it, it was a valet. And a customer sent us a picture of the valet standing outside a car. It is a downpour. And he's got the umbrella over the guest, and it's just pouring rain on him. And it's like, I didn't teach him that. But he got it, that's the way you should do that at Commander's Palace. And so it is, Lally and I and the team here, oh my God, Dan and Kenny and Steve, we literally teach body language. We show them the body language that we would like. And
you will explain it to them and physically show them?
Physically in pre-meal, stand there and go, look, it's a little bow. It's a little step out of the way. And I think a lot of people think that it's demeaning to serve other people, and nobody wants somebody to snap their fingers, at you. But we flip that here, and we say it's an honor to serve. Tonight I serve you. Tomorrow night you serve me. And on the night when I'm serving you, boy, it's going to be good. And I'm honored to do it. You're coming here for a very special something, even if it's just to come have a great evening, with your husband or your buddy. But we really feel that it's an honor, and we get that into the culture. But so it is through training. The pre-meal meetings that we have every day.
It's every single day.
The way you run a restaurant is you have a lot of one-on-one meetings, okay, to help people and mentor and push and develop. And then you have a lot of group meetings where you are conveying everything so we're all on the same page. And when you're too lazy to do both of those things, you don't have a prayer. In case you wanted to know.
Hiring, what does that look like?
Because
you've got to hire if you don't bring in the right person, I would imagine some people simply aren't coachable or don't want to be coachable.
It's true. And we really try to weed those people out in the hiring, and we explain the expectations. We explain this is not an easy place to work. This is an intense place to work, but it's also one of the most joyful places I've ever been, because everybody's, pushing for excellence. I had to teach our chef Tori that we don't have to have perfection, because that will drive you insane, but we are reaching for excellence. And we talk to people about that and how hard it is and how high. You're sitting here in this room, and there's a sign right behind me that says you will not suffer the curse of low expectations. And so we let them know how intense that will be. And it does weed people out, and you get a feel for if people can hang in this type of environment.
And probably just those conversations in the interview process and how they respond or react.
Right.
As those conversations
are happening. You show up and you don't have a pen and your shirt's wrinkled, and that's going to be a real short interview.
And the training process. So, you're teaching them, you're showing them. It's the one-on-ones, it's the groups. But if this isn't a fit for someone, do y'all have like an initial performance period? How does this work?
Yeah, every job is different, but and we do use some videos explaining a lot of what I'm explaining right now, and some things like that. So we use some stuff that everybody's getting on the same page, and then there's some tests and some shadowing days, and then one day you get thrown in the deep end. Not too deep. You could probably touch the ground and not drown, but yeah, that's what it's basic in that way.
But it's like many things, I think, that seem absolutely effortless, yet completely well executed. It is the furthest thing from effortless. There's so much that goes behind it that is well thought, well crafted, designed to really empower them to have this. And I would imagine, I'm just, I guess, hypothesizing on this, but I would imagine the people who are hired here, it becomes part of their own culture and their lives, because it would be hard to embrace that as fully as they do in this role. I would imagine it would trickle into other areas of their lives as well.
Well, that's kind, and I'd like to think so, but maybe they arrive that way. I do think that we develop folks. I mean, sometimes people will say, "Oh, well, where'd you find all those great chefs?" And I'm like, "Well, did we find them or did we make them?" And whether it's the famous ones you're talking about or other people, I do think sometimes we do make people, particularly young people, and you know them, Molly. I mean, people that you can see them at a certain point in their life that they could go one way or the other. I'd like to think we're a part of them going the right way. I've got this feeling, and my mother and I shared this, you are truly supposed to be everything you're capable of in this life. You're just supposed to be. Now, you can call that Puritan work ethic or Catholic guilt or whatever the heck you want to call it. I believe this. If you're not trying your darndest to be everything you're capable of, you will never be happy. So there. I mean, you can look at it selfishly in that way if you want. If you're trying to be happy, you're supposed to give this earth everything you're capable of. So we try to give people pathways to do that. I mean, I'm describing something utopian, and obviously we don't always get there, but that's what we're aiming for.
So there's these experiences that people are having every night. They're celebrating all these events. There's just so many different people from all areas of the country, all areas of the world coming in. What are some of the craziest stories, the most extraordinary or heartwarming things? There's got to, I would think every single night there's going to be a top story of the night.
Yeah, it's true. Well, you said heartwarming, and I hadn't thought about this one in years. But one night, some of the team ran up to me and like, T, come to the Coliseum room. You have to go to this party. I'm like, okay, what's wrong? And they're like, nothing's wrong. Listen, what happened? A lady who used to come here frequently, I did not know her, but she came here a lot, apparently. She died, and she put in her will that 1 month to the day after she died, these 24 people would go to Commander's Palace and celebrate her life on her. And I'm like,
wow.
We're in somebody's will? I mean, you know, I was just blown away. And I went in the room, and they told me all these wonderful stories about her. And I mean, that still blows my mind. On the funnier experiences, I think I mentioned to you one time that when we did used to give gentlemen jackets, we just require collared shirts now, not jackets, but and we gave a gentleman a jacket, and I think this fellow had a little too much, was a little overserved, and when he was leaving, I helped to take the jacket off, and I heard jingle, jingle, jingle. Well, he had stolen silverware and put it in the pocket and was too drunk to know that he was going to have to give me the jacket back. So if you don't want to believe people do those things, sadly, those moments make you realize they do. And another one I like to joke with my cousin Lally about is we have a room called the Little Room, and it's little. Anyway, there was a private party going on in there one night, and the maitre d' came running up, and he's like, you got to come do something. I'm like, what? He goes, well, they're under the table. I'm like, what are they doing under the table? He goes, well, what do you think they're doing under the table? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, just close the doors. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, yes, just close the doors. So Lally and I invented a drink called the Just Close the Doors. And I always say that those are her friends. She knows who I'm talking about. And those are her friends, not my friends.
That's my funniest. That is hilarious.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. There's the panic button of when do we go get tea? That was it.
Yeah. It's always really good or really bad, I got to tell you.
That's incredible. All right. So on to tea and talking about you. I know that you hate talking about yourself. It's maybe the thing that you
Boring.
like the least. But I would love our listeners to have the opportunity to learn more about you, your background, your approach, your communication style, because there's so much. I was telling you just before we started this podcast, my dad had the opportunity to see you speak at an event we were at. And
about you, I got to speak.
It was, well, which is why my dad was there and maybe why he loved you so much. But he said, wow, she is such a powerful woman, but she is so warm and she's so disarming. And he was really like, this is really fantastic that you have someone like that in your life. And he appreciates that. And I think that's my 80-year-old dad. Yeah. And I think he's absolutely right. And I think that's anyone who encounters you has this feel.
I wish, but
I do think it is. You are a force of a personality. You have the work hard, the play hard, the high expectations, but an incredibly high level of support for everybody around you.
Well, finding people like you is, you're finding the little gems out there. And when I can throw a little, help that way and help it grow. This is a funny story that my mom used to tell, that my Aunt Dottie loves flowers. And she's never got over the fact that when she was in kindergarten or something, they gave her a seed and some mud and they put that outside and put some water in it and it grew. And she loved growing plants. The whole rest of her life was fascinated by that. And Mom said, Dottie likes growing plants. I like growing people. And I've inherited that from my mom. And so, sometimes people come along and you're one of them, that if I can have a little influence to push you a little bit because I know what you're capable of, sometimes maybe even I can see people's abilities more than they see sometimes. And when you can see that fire in the belly, and that light in somebody's eyes, then I want to try to give special attention wherever I can to see if I can help. And what a joy, what a wonderful way to go through life, getting to do that. But you do have to be intentional about it, and you do have to take your time to do it when you can, So that, there's this idea that is maybe not a phrase that people talk about anymore, but it's called the common good. And it's very, very important to me. And this whole world of everybody being me, and it's all about me. And I mean, I'm sorry. This fascination with people with taking pictures of themselves, it's unbelievable. And whatever. The obsession with self to me is a downfall of our world. And sure, I would like to have a cute picture of you and I or whatever. But, but the going around constantly only worried about oneself is not, we're not going to get where we want to go as a human being and as a country. And when you do give away, it really does come back to you. And sometimes quicker than you might think, sometimes maybe you don't see it come back right away. But I just think that we've got to think that, and that goes to policies in your own business. It goes to our country. And so those are the type of things that I really believe in.
Talk to me more about the common good and like what you mean by that.
Well, I mean, I hate to get political, but I'm okay with paying some taxes. What is this just abhorrence for all taxes? I mean, there are certain roles that the government should play, and I'm okay with paying for that. No, I don't want them to waste. No, I don't. But I'm not willing to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, but forget taxes. I mean, and everybody just wants to, get as much money for themselves as they can. Well, do you need 2 yachts? Wouldn't 1 yacht be enough? You know what I mean? Is there, and you can say that and it sounds cute because, neither one of us can afford a yacht. But, does that really come down to policies and the way you live your life and how you pay people and how you, yes, I'm going to give up some money to give you some more. And, I just think that we've got to think differently about everybody. We did not all start out even. And some people were blessed with so many gifts, whether it was financial or an incredible amount of love and confidence given to you by good parenting, and you didn't get sick and you whatever. Not everybody started out even, and some people need some more help. Okay. And I want them to work for it. You're damn right. I want them to work for it. Nobody believes in hard work. The only thing I can't stand in life is laziness. That's it. But if you're going to work hard, but we're not all as capable, dadgummit. And so you've got to think that way. And so should somebody get a little extra time and effort from me if they work here? And, I've had people work here that were illiterate, and we helped that person go and learn to read, but there were jobs they could do being illiterate, and we helped them to do it and go learn literacy. And so I'm okay that person got some extra time, and maybe his family and his children and everybody are doing better because of it. So I don't know. I get a little excited about these things.
It's beautiful, and it's thinking well outside of ourselves and thinking well beyond ourselves, and even well beyond the people that are in our immediate circle, and who are the other people that our lives are intertwining with, and what ways can we help to enrich their lives?
Right. And what are you doing with your free time? I mean, you're going to die and go, I'm really glad I watched more sitcoms or played video games or what. And look, I think we should all entertain ourselves in whatever way we want, I mean, and I think there's time to work hard and play hard and rest. There is. But there are some things one can do that are a little more useful. I mean, this weekend I'm going to go just be silly with my girlfriends. I'm finally getting to see a few of them, and I'm just going to have a good time. But I like to spend a lot of my other free time on things that might move my business forward or help somebody else, or, on some of the causes.
So much time giving. You do.
Well,
you do.
It all comes back.
And with you, I admire what I see as a fearlessness in you and about you. And you connect with people. It's very direct. It's impactful. It's memorable. What you say is going to stick. Have you always been that way?
I don't know. Always. There's people that I admired that I mimicked until I got more that way. But you do have to get to a certain level of confidence to be like that.
Like even as a teenager in your early 20s?
I was a good student and I was good at sports. And that was a blessing because both those things gave me really good confidence. But
and discipline.
Discipline is a big one, isn't it? And that speaks so much to what you do. And I would always tell people in the restaurant, I'd be like, oh, it's so hard to be in the restaurant. But, you miss so much. I'm like, what do you miss? I mean, so you miss a few parties. Frankly, you probably still go to the party right when the party's getting good. You know what I mean? And other things like, thank God for you and eat fit. And you've done that whole thing by your sheer force of personality. And I could talk a whole hour about that. Those things really matter. And you do have to if you want to be a leader, you better take care of yourself so you're not sick all the time. And so that requires some discipline. But it doesn't have to be that much. I mean, you probably shoot me for saying this as I sit here drinking my tab. I only let myself have one a day. But, you try not to eat carbs and I exercise every day. That's kind of my shtick, and then that gives me more energy and makes me feel better about myself. But the confidence certainly came from my mom and other people, like some people that have mentored me, like Joe Hennigan and other folks that helped me learn. But learning has probably given me more confidence than anything.
With all the different organizations that you're part of, the boards, the aviation board, there's so much that you do in the community that inevitably is going to be, whether it's community-based, political-based. How do you don't seem like you do, but how do you not feel the pressures of others or succumb to the pressures of others? Like if there's conversations that you staunchly disagree with?
No, in other words, if there's a problem, there's an obstacle right in front of you. If you look at it as a physical fence or something, you can just blow right through the fence, and get a big truck and just blow through it. You can do that, but you can also go over, under, or around. And I had the great good fortune to be friends with a couple ladies, Cokie Roberts and her mom, Lindy Boggs. And there's some extraordinary stories about how Lindy got laws passed by, blinking and looking at men and she said, well, gentlemen, I know you meant to include, sex and female in that bill about credit being available, which was not available to women before Lindy at all, before Lindy passed this law. And, she just had a way of disarming them. Well, she didn't blow through them and yell and scream and cause a fit. I mean, different situations require handling different ways. I developed this little theory in life that I call sugar, 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 then spice. I'm going to try real nice 3 times. And if that doesn't work, you might get all the way to the spice.
Nobody wants the spice.
Nobody wants the spice. And but I'm saying that, and I don't yell, I don't scream, I don't whatever, but I can talk quite sternly and make my point made. And around here, if it doesn't go well, we take a walk around the cemetery. And if you have to go walk around the cemetery with me, then that's something you
like. That's the equivalent of going to the principal's office.
Yes, you want to avoid that. Yeah.
Who knew? So earlier when we said, what do you do when someone is maybe having a hard time adapting to the commander's way? They get a walk.
They might not even deserve that walk yet.
Yeah.
But if we're working on you and you really do something disappointing, you might get that. You might get that walk.
So with everything that you're doing, the restaurant community. What do you do and how do you carve out the time for yourself? How do you keep it carved out? How do you protect that? And what does it look like?
So physically, so I exercise 6 or 7 days a week. And here's my thing. I like to do fun things. I love to bike. So I can bike out to the lakefront and just absolutely love that. I feel like I'm 8 years old the minute I get on a bike. I also play pickleball with my dear, dear friends. And we get up every Wednesday morning at 6:30 and play pickleball. We're not playing pickleball right now. So we meet at one of our houses and we take a walk in one of the parks. So I get to do things like that. I also just bought kayaks. I unfortunately bought a blow up kayak and was on the bayou the other day and saw an alligator. And I'm going, what am I doing in a blow up toy? Anyway. And my girlfriend from California was like, is that an alligator? I'm like, sure is. Anyway, so, but when I don't have time to do one of those things, I have an exercise bike at the house. And there's nobody in the world that doesn't have time to do this because I get on the exercise bike. I've got the iPad. I'm reading emails and or news. I've got on the news. I don't like to watch a lot of television, but I want to know what's going on in the world. So I get my little dose. So I'm exercising, TV, emails, frequently phone calls at the same time. And it's only 30 minutes. Some of my best advice that I give people is exercise every day or 6 days a week. Some doctors say you should take one day off and you get, sick less or something, whatever, is don't exercise more than 30 minutes. And people always go, why? I'm like, because you'll quit. You won't be able to keep it up if you're going to go do some big hour and a half and drive here and do that.
Whatever. Or you think, why even start? Because I don't have the time.
Exactly. So if you only do 30 minutes, you got to really exercise. And in the middle of the bike ride or at the end, I get off and I do 40 push-ups and I do 260 sit-ups of different types.
Are your push-ups knees or straight leg?
The real ones, baby.
Wow. 40?
The way I started doing that was because years ago, I actually wanted to join the army or something because I wanted to do boot camp. I was going to get out immediately, and my mom begged me not to. And so I found out what they did, and they did 40 push-ups. I said, Mom, I do 40 push-ups. So I just kept doing it the rest of my life. And you can't imagine how quick it is to do the 260 sit-ups. It is so fast. Now, the procrastinating in between doing it is a lot longer than doing it. So, but I'm watching TV and I'm doing sit-ups and frequently the phone is on my chest and I'm on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there is zero wasted time.
Right.
But it's every day.
I love the multitasking during the movement and I'll do the elliptical and you use the dash of the elliptical almost as a desk and read things there. Or now, especially being outside walking, like you said, because, limited stuff. And I'll schedule walk and talk calls. Yep. Sometimes the other person's actually walking virtually with me. Sometimes they're not. And I just let them know I'm going to be breathy,
Love that.
But finding ways that, you can maximize that time because everyone has the time and you can, if you feel like you don't, layer it in with something else you're already doing.
Right. Yeah. Right. Or for us, it's a reward. Like I'm like, okay, if we get everything done by 6:30, we can go on a kayak tonight. And it's like literally my reward.
Good. Yeah.
So quit thinking of it as a
punishment.
A punishment. It's a reward.
And your 30 minutes is good. I think I like people to do more if they can.
And I do when I have time.
But not
for fun.
Putting the must, not putting the should on yourself.
Exactly.
Of that.
Like obviously pickleball is, hour and a half or whatever, but that's fun.
You love pickleball because I'll see you at the gym there. So I'm playing it. I can't even imagine.
But I also do golf and whatnot a little bit, not as much lately. But I just do different stuff. Yeah. Just do something.
And it's a release. It's a release it's the physical movement, but it's that mental release.
It's a win-win. Yeah. And if you do it in the morning and your whole day is just awful, you're like, well, at least I did that. You know what I mean?
Right. But it sets the tone for us. It gets our endorphins going. It gets the oxygenation through our body. It sets us on that positive tone to set the stage for a more positive day.
Right. And win-win-win. You tell me. If you have a little bit more muscle, so hence the push-ups and sit-ups, then you have a little better metabolism.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I can eat more. And I eat a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I need to keep that metabolism going.
Yeah.
I also don't want Mardi Gras arms. You know what Mardi Gras arms? When that woman is waving, throw me something, mister, and all that thing underneath is going in the wind. I'm like, okay, I just can't have Mardi Gras arms.
Well, with 40 push-ups a day, it's not going to happen. Your arms are covered, but it's like the Michelle Obama arms. She's a big push-up person.
How many does she do?
I don't know. Her and Ellen had a push-up competition one time, though.
Yeah.
It was pretty fascinating. I'm pretty sure Michelle Obama won.
Okay, well, I now need to know. I'm a little bit competitive.
We'll find it out.
I didn't know how many. Okay, I might have to up my push-up game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there may be a day that one of them is here, and maybe y'all can.
Let's do that. But you feel it. I mean, you tell me, but a push-up is good for a whole lot of things besides your arms.
Oh, it's such a core. That's why I was asking knees or straight legs, because with the straight legs there, that is an incredible core workout. Yeah. I mean,
so
lower back.
Quick.
You can't do that with a weak lower back.
Yeah, it's true. And I have a little back issues. And at times I have to lay off the push-ups for a minute, but I go right back to it.
Impressive. So shifting gears and thanks for kind of helping us set the stage of Commanders and tea, and shifting gears to where we are now with this.
Do we have to?
I know, but you've got your philosophy and your attitude and how y'all are adapting, and let's just. I think how you handle it is very inspiring to me. I think it will be to our listeners. A couple of weeks ago or recently when we were talking about, as we were scheduling this podcast, you said it was like, you felt like you were rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about it. What's happening now? What's happening? What do you see happening in the future, both here at Commanders and far reaching with hospitality?
Well, I think people know by now that, everybody's going through this. So the whole world is in on it. You can't escape it. However, the hospitality industry is one of the hardest hit. I mean, certainly the frontline people are the real heroes in this. And we've done things to support them where we can. And I just can't even imagine what their daily life is like. But as a business, the hospitality industry has just been devastated. And for us, I'm be honest, it's a financial bloodbath. I mean, we are losing money hand over fist, trying to pay our people, trying to maneuver what the heck this PPP, when it can work for us, how it won't work for us. And it's like, the old saying where you're flying the plane, but you're building the plane while you're flying it. I mean, this is not a good plan, And so when we had to shut down and in New Orleans, people in all businesses are like, we're not going to shut down. The hurricane's coming, but we pride ourselves on not shutting down until we absolutely have to. And that's what it was like. We stayed open. Everybody's like, yeah, we're all in. And then the government pretty much shut us down, and as they well should have. And so then we switched immediately to go food, and everybody was excited. Oh, well, what the hell? Commander's Pals to go food. We'll try it. And we were doing really, really well, and everybody was really, really good. And then everybody really, really wasn't. And overnight, everybody, it seemed like, got uncomfortable with the social distancing, even as big a kitchen as we have. When you cook hot food, you're going to be near each other. It's the nature of the beast. And so we kept meeting every day. We kept having the staff come in every day, and we would do our pre-meal, and we very collaborative the way we make our decisions, extremely. And so then everybody's like, well, I think we should shut down next week. I'm like, well, how about today? And they're like, okay, well, we already cooked everything. All right, how about tomorrow? Okay, so we did. We just shut down, and we said we're taking a pause, and we kept relooking at things. And we had a meeting with the the management team who was still left. So I'm picturing it's a main dining room, which looked like a bomb went off, and there's probably 15 of us or more in the room, and we just made this pact, and we said we're gonna get through this, and we are gonna come out the other side, and we want to do as many things as we can to help each other, in this group, in this company, and to help as many people as we can before this is over. We just want to come out the other side being proud of what we did. And that was just a little pact that we kind of made at the beginning, because we were all thinking about Katrina and what could we have done better, and, blah, blah, blah. So that's what we've done. And I mean, I didn't know what Zoom was. I didn't know what Slack was, and now I'm really into all these things. We had so many ideas. We had to put them on Slack, and a bunch of them stuck. We knew we wanted to do some charitable things, and we started working with the crew of Red Beans, and they were helping people on the front line. So we immediately started fundraising and doing food with them. But then we said, well, what can we do? We started doing cocktail classes and cooking classes online. That was kind of going. Anyway, we tried these other couple things. We had been working with this company called GoldBelly to start shipping. And we've been trying to get it going before, but we were too busy and didn't accomplish it. We're like, let's get GoldBelly going. So we started shipping food nationally, and it really kind of took off. It's a heck of a little business for us, but who knew that to put 2 quail in a box, you needed a giant box and 1 million gel packs, and where the heck are we going to put that? And we're figuring all this out as we go. But we did it, and we started it. And then Dan, the wine guy, and Tori and Kenny said, look, we want to try this wine and cheese party thing, and we're going to pair wine and cheese, and we're going to deliver it to people's house, and then they get to be on the Zoom, and they get to taste. And this is a fascinating thing for people. We get to do it all the time, but to sit there and literally taste exactly what Tori and Dan and Lally and I are tasting, and hear particularly those 2 guys talk about it, is very, very interesting, unique opportunity for people. And I'm like, how are we going to deliver it? And they're like, well, we're just going to deliver it. So my general manager and all my managers are delivering wine and cheese all around the city. Some people come pick it up. And we started the Zoom. And then we said, well, let's have themes. Let's have this night. It was the first one just happened to be French. And I think that's how it happened. So everybody wear your beret or whatever the heck you got. And a lot of people dressed up and a lot of costumes. So we said, well, that was fun. We kind of kept that going. And at the end, we kind of opened the mic up and everybody started talking to each other. And we had called this the Commander's Palace Don't Stand Too Close to Me cocktail party. And so that is our idea, that we're educating you, but it's like by accident because it's a party. And so this has taken off and it's our main moneymaker now.
And you never would have guessed this before.
How in the world?
Right.
But after the first one, we went, oh,
yeah,
I think we might have something here. So Idea Village, which I love and support, has this saying, trust your crazy ideas. And I have the sign hanging right there. And so we kept trusting our crazy ideas. And so we've got some more crazy ideas in the works, but these things have kept us going. So now we have people can also buy wine out of our wine cellars. We've got that going. We've got the GoldBelly shipping going. We've got the show that we do at night. And we're doing to-go food. So we've hobbled all this together. We're still losing money overall because we've kept as many people as we can to pay, even though everybody took half, everybody's making 50%. I mean, it's tough. But it's so hard, but it's strangely exhilarating. And to watch people grow amidst this and their excitement. And it's, the other day we have another thing we haven't announced yet that we're going to do. And we're in the meeting. I'm like, come on, y'all, we hadn't started a new business in 3 weeks,
Right.
But that's what it's like around here. And it really is exciting. We got a long way to go to come back, but
it gives them the opportunity to have that entrepreneur mindset.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we encourage that. And we don't care where the idea comes from. I don't want to.
Under normal circumstances, there's not that there's not the opportunity for it, but there really isn't because you're running it as your normal, who's going to say, hey, why don't we start this costume party on Wednesday nights? You'd be like, why?
Right.
But it gives people the opportunity to truly have that entrepreneur mindset, try these things, and then the little seeds that grow, it's such a rewarding thing.
Yeah, it's been interesting. And then, financially, we're still modeling and figuring out all the best things that we can do. And everybody's learning from that too. Anyway, it's interesting.
Are there some that are your staff here that have had creative ideas that have been surprising to you? Like that you've like, wow, I didn't realize that they had this thread in their personality.
Well, absolutely. Like, Kenny, my manager, who is so great. He's like, he runs the quote unquote music board. Like on the show, we had Amanda Shaw. We're going to have a bunch of wonderful folks coming up with great bands. And we have the Commander's Palace Don't Stand Too Close to Me jazz band, our regular band, and they're just bored. So they come every Wednesday so they had to be in a different room, right? So then we had to set up a whole new board. And so he's like, I didn't know I could run a music board, and then he has a ton of great ideas. Dan, the wine guy, has a million. Kristen, one of our managers, Leela. I mean, they're all it's an unbelievable team. And the culture of let's just try it, unless it's crazy expensive. This is so funny because as we think about reopening, I got an email yesterday that said, T, we are going to have to spend some money on the show because we took all the technical equipment and computers out of the reservation office to do the TV show. And I'm like, you did? And they're like, yeah, we did. And so now we got to have to buy some computers and things to keep the show. Anyway, it's just funny. I'm like, y'all went and raided the reservation office? They're like, well, yeah, we did. So
anyway, where do you think they came from?
I never thought about how y'all did that. But so yes, you're seeing them, grow. It's thrilling.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing that you're also you're encouraging it. Like you're helping them thrive in this. And it could be shutting the doors. We'll see you in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Or it could be, we're in this together.
Right. It is. I mean, we are, the whole world's in it together, but I'm button popping proud of my team.
How do you think this compares to other crises over the years, over the history of Commanders, even Commanders even before it was in your life, but it's been around for over 100 years, 130.
27 or something. Nothing compares to this.
Okay.
Even after Katrina, we had business interruption insurance. And that, if you're not in business, it might not mean anything to you, but it was money that we paid all those years into insurance that allowed us to continue to pay our people. We don't have that now. And nobody I know has that. And that is wrong and criminal in my opinion. And that's what's happened. But Don't get me on that. But so we don't have any money coming in, and so we're trying to do these other things. So this is so devastating to people financially. And I was on a call with a senator's office yesterday with a bunch of restaurateurs in New Orleans. And one of the things I said, and then every restaurateur and chef nodded their head on the Zoom call. And I said, every person on this call is calculating how many more months they can hang on. And that includes me. So if we don't understand that this industry is going to need help, beyond what's happened that didn't really work for everybody, I want to make sure you understand that. And every chef and restaurateur was nodding their head. I mean, this is as tough as it gets. And yes, we're doing silly parties in the middle of it. And yes, you've got to laugh in the middle of some of this and let some stress off.
But it compares to nothing.
There's nothing that compares to this. And I'm sitting here today, and my only positive about this thing is that unlike Katrina, that was a long, slow slog to get back. I feel like when there is some sort of treatment or vaccine, that it'll shoot back up. So I've been feeling positive-ish about that, though I don't know when that'll be. And I have thought this was going to be longer than most people. But I am worried that we'll still be doing this in a year. And so as I really absorb that, it's almost overwhelming. What we're going through right now with all the horrible that I just talked about, this is the most extraordinary time I've ever seen. And if we don't take advantage of it, we're fools. And I don't mean financially. I mean, we got a real chance to grow. And I'm talking about, Black Lives Matter and wages and everything you want to talk about. And it takes something as big as this movement to get enough people to stop and look at what we've been doing and to really look at changing. I find that thrilling. I've been interested in the subject of discrimination in general for a long time, and that's a whole nother story. But we can all do so much better. And we've done some things here that I'm proud of, but it's not even close to enough. And you've got to be willing to really, really change some things. And for example, this maybe is or isn't what your podcast is about, but I think the minimum wage should be raised. And I've thought that forever, basically. Because for people to understand, if you don't do that, then you have businesses kind of competing against each other. And, maybe I try to pay this much higher wage, but the guy down the street doesn't. And just raise the damn thing, And if they don't have the guts to do it nationally, then, let's try to do it in the state. And that keeps failing. And I find this a big failure in our country, in our state. And I'm damn mad about it. And I can explain more about why that helps. And well, then just you pay the higher wages. Well, we do. In fact, I don't know anybody in my end of the business that pays anybody minimum wage. I mean, maybe the first day they show up to make sure they show up with their shoes tied, whatever. Or a training wage for a kid, but nobody's paying that. But we've got to improve, and so it's a time when we can start talking about those things and lots of things like that we can do to help. And so it's I think we're going to look back on this as just one of the most pivotal times in the history of our country
of true growth as a country, as a culture, and then personally. But as you've said before, you've got to let yourself feel uncomfortable because it's not easy.
Right. I mean, when you sit back
and people don't like that.
That's right. Well, when you think about when you've grown, you didn't grow when everything was just easy and perfect and wonderful. Whatever you did, you had to put effort into it. Lots of times when I've been uncomfortable in life, that is a sign to me that I need to do something. I'll tell you this one. When in the 90s, okay, 2 gay guys, friends of mine, came to me and said, T, you need to chair this thing called the Human Rights Campaign dinner. And I'm like, why me? And they said, because you can't get fired. Now, I'm gay. And they wanted me, and they said, and plus we need more women. And I said, well, you're wrong about the fact that I can't get fired because I work for my family. I don't own this, at the time. And so, but I went home and I was so uncomfortable and so nervous that I said, well, you better do that, T. And I did. And I've been so happy that I did that, and we made some damn good progress in this city. And I was not the leader. I was just helping. But that's the level of discomfort you have to have.
Were there parts of that experience that were turbulent, or was it a pretty smooth experience?
Oh, the whole thing was so scary. Mm-hmm. I mean, people can't really remember what it was like back then. But for example, the only business donors to any gay organization in New Orleans were beer companies and bars on Bourbon Street. There were no No, I'm not kidding. That's because nobody wanted to be associated with it, AIDS, blah, blah, blah. So I went to the top banker in the state and got an appointment and went to meet with him. And quickly, so my co-chair shows up and I'm like, Robert, it's so late. I'm sitting there. I'm a nervous wreck. I mean, I think maybe this is my banker. Maybe he's never going to talk to me again. Maybe I'm going to ruin my business. Maybe my mother's going to want to kill me that I went and did this because I didn't tell anybody I was doing it.
It's hard for me to picture you being nervous.
Oh my God. So nervous. And then he's late, right? I'm sitting in the ante room waiting for the president of the biggest bank. I'm proud to say his name, Ryan Arnoff, and waiting for him to come out. And Robert's, my co-chair, is nowhere to be found. So then he finally shows up and he gets there and he looks nice in his blue suit. And thank God, I didn't know what he might wear. And I'm like, oh my God, Robert, there's sparkles all over your face. Jesus Christ, there's sparkles all over your face. And what the hell's the matter with you? Because that's why I'm late. We had the big ball last night and I hadn't been able to get it off. And I'm like, oh my God. And they go, T, come right this way. Oh my God. So we walk in the office. Long story short, we made our pitch to Ian, and whatever the little minimal amount we were asking for was, he doubled it.
Wow.
And then after that, all the businesses started donating. But I was a nervous wreck because it could have affected my business, my family, my everything. But it made me nervous, but I knew it was the right thing to do. And thank God for him. And everybody followed his lead.
And what a confidence booster for you moving forward, that you had that discomfort, you had that fear. But I think anytime that we look back at the times that we had this biggest period of growth, it was the times that were the hardest, the challenging, that we may be unhappy, we might be, miserable, we might experience what we feel is depression on whatever level we feel it, whether it's very deep or very mild, but we're not sleeping. There's all of this, but at the end of it is that evolution for us.
Yeah. And they don't all have as happy of an ending as that, but still, if you believe it's the right thing, go do it.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Using this time to try new things, which is exactly what you guys are doing. So I think encouraging our listeners to embrace the discomfort that you're feeling.
Yes.
And I think when it comes to conversations that feel uncomfortable, allow yourself to have them.
Right.
Starting with the people who are closest to you, and you may not be comfortable really talking to, whether it's about any of the many, many things that are happening now. Things are so polarizing. It's hard to even know if something's okay to say to your neighbor, unless you maybe see the sign in their yard that tells you what they think, know. But you starting with even the people closest to you and just starting to have these conversations. And what I found is a lot of people are just starting to form how they feel about a lot of these.
Yes, because they never thought about it. So if you are a certain religion, you sort of inherited that religion frequently. Most often, that was my parents. They made you whatever religion. Did you ever really stop and think about it? Did you ever really hold it up to light and think, is this really the religion I want to be, or do I even want to have a religion? So it's the same thing with every belief you have. If I'm pro this or pro that, why? And let me really look at it. And, over the years, they would say, oh, such and such politicians are flip-flopper. And I always thought, well, that's so stupid. If I still had, at my age, and it's an interesting age I'm getting to, every opinion that I had when I was 35, well, that would be pitiful in my opinion. I've tried to examine and look at things, and I have absolutely changed my mind. So it's about evolving, and that's what we want commanders to be. That's why the menu's not the same all the time. We're constantly evolving, hopefully into a better and better place. So why not do that with your own beliefs? Take them out, pull them out of the darkness, look at them. And I'm not criticizing. None of us have time to sit around and do this all the time. And so you just go through life and you're not doing it. But let's look at some of them. Why do you feel? We know the word prejudice comes from the word to prejudge. Nobody likes to think of themselves as prejudging people, but we all do. So anyway, I could go on and on about all that, but that's right. You've got to examine it and evolve.
Using this time to have that self-reflection, and whether it's your company, a brand that you have developed, it could be in a work or professional component. But I also think for all of us, it starts with that personal.
Right.
And as you said, we haven't even begun. Many of us have not even thought about certain things. Well, we have no excuse now.
Yep.
Like if you haven't now thought of it, you're really avoiding it. But using this to think about it, learn, read, follow people who are inspiring to you, so if someone's on social media, find people who have messages that are educational and rooted in fact and are steering you to educate yourself further. Here's things for reading, or here's things to watch to learn more, so I think using that, but knowing that you're not going to just breeze through it. Conversations feel uncomfortable, but that's a necessary part of growing into that stronger version of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. No, it's so true. I'm with you. It's that's what we're talking about. Just keep evolving. And I don't want to make it like our business again is this utopian thing. We have so much to learn. I think our industry, hospitality industry, has so much to be proud of and so much that needs to change. And frankly, this COVID, it is stopping us in our tracks. What better time than to use this horrific time to stop and relook at how we're doing everything that we're doing.
Every single thing.
Absolutely.
Undo it and put it all back together.
Yep.
Anything else that you want our listeners to take away from this?
I think we've talked about a heck of a lot. I do think, initiative is something that I wish more people would take more often. And this time has shown me that I have people that feel that too. And you got to fan those flames. So all this is about initiative. Just take that one little step. And if it's in business, I have a young fella I work very closely with, and he called me out and he said, "Hey, Aunt T, what do you think about this idea?" And I said, "I think it's a damn good idea." And he made one phone call, and then something's come of it. And I know he's a little uncomfortable to make that phone call, but now something rather significant might come of it. So even if it's just a little thing like that, even if it was him just being brave enough to tell me his crazy idea, and then and some of his ideas really are crazy, so we do have to have those conversations. But, somebody's got to take the first step. You can't get to second base with one foot on first. You got to try. You got to get out there a little bit. And so I just want to encourage that. Tuning into the people around us, because we don't know. I've had many times, you're one of them, when you share the idea with our Eat Fit cookbook, you said, absolutely, go for it. And you were my, advisory board of one. But that gave me the confidence that this was something I could do. And we don't know the people who are having conversations with us, that one, if it's a good idea, that one thumbs up from us, that one, yeah, why not? Like, you've got this, like that nudge is what they need. I did ask you to bring me one, didn't I? Because I cannot find mine. God dang it. Anyway, I can't find mine, and I've got to lose 5 pounds, Molly. So I need the book. But anyway,
you can't see through the mic or see through your what you're listening to this on. But I had just a full reaction that I completely forgot it. I gave him his Christmas presents. Hands in the hair. I'm like pulling my hair. I gave him his Christmas presents, and I ended up with nothing. Anyway, but I would have told you if it was I thought it was a bad idea too. But it was obviously a damn good idea, and I need one. So anyway, I'm going to go down to the corner today to the bookstore and get one. We'll get you one. Awesome. Thank you so much, Chief, for your time. And I'm going to put the link to, of course, Commanders, the different things that you've talked about, the different things you're involved in. NOCHI, we'll have the links to that on the episode notes. And then also GoldBelly, because I think that's brilliant for people to know about. Yeah. So awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks, Molly. Next time we do this, I'm going to interview you. Oh, I like that. I'm so honored and so grateful to T for joining us. As you can hear, there's just so much that we can learn from her, so much that can help us in our personal lives and our business lives, reminding us to truly embrace discomfort and taking this time to try new things, make it a priority to continue to learn, to teach, and above all, to look for every opportunity possible for growth and transformation. As mentioned, I'll include the links that T and I talked about in the show notes of this episode. And please let me know what you think as you incorporate some of these strategies that we talked about, some of these approaches to life that we talked about into your own life. I would love to hear about it. I am registered dietitian Molly Kimball, and you've been listening to Fueled Wellness and Nutrition, the podcast. If you would like more Fueled Wellness and Nutrition, please head over to mollykimball.com, and you can follow me, Molly Kimball RD, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you haven't yet, please go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast, and join us next week for another dose of Fueled Wellness and Nutrition. Thanks for listening, and stay focused on living your strongest, healthiest life.